Good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt Brown from NST. We will begin in just a few moments. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. I'm going to click on my video so everybody can see me. How's everybody out there today? And the good thing about it is today is Friday, so hope everybody's happy about that. I am going to start, since it is Friday, I'm going to start with a YouTube video. I hope that, I know this is flying around the internet, but I want to start what I thought was funny. It's in no way a dig on Zoom, but I do thought it would be funny to put it out there. So we'll start with this afternoon. So anyway, thought we'd start with something funny this afternoon. If you guys hang around to the end, I will show you another video that I think is pretty funny as well. But today we're going to talk about Microsoft Teams. So we did a webinar on Teams the other day. We had some really good success. A lot of people attended. A lot of people said that they couldn't attend it, so we decided to have a second one, and that's what we are doing here today. First and foremost, everybody here at NST hopes that everybody out there is that your family, your friends, your coworkers are safe and healthy, and that everyone stays that way during this difficult time. We're really talking about Microsoft Teams because it is a great way to collaborate with coworkers, employees, and to stay in touch with people. You know, I think that now that we're all working remotely, we're gonna miss that social aspect of it. That you know, that chatting at the water cooler, that coffee, you know, all of those conversations that we have on a day-by-day basis, walking into somebody's office, we're gonna miss. But with Teams, it really helps to get that collaboration and that camaraderie. Okay, so we are going to start with Teams. So Teams is a mobile, it is a desktop, and it is a web app. I am going to bring it up now. Okay, so this is what the desktop app looks like. The good thing about the apps as a whole is that they are the mobile, the desktop, and the web app all sync to each other. So the really good thing about it is that if you're using a mobile app and you come back to your desktop app, everything will be synced back up. Same thing if you're using the web version. And the really good thing about that is that it knows which version you're using. So if you're using the mobile app on your phone, it is not going to ping your desktop app. If you're using your desktop app, it's not going to ping your mobile app. So the really good thing about that is that allows us to stay in contact, but also not get those constant pings. We have been using Teams for about 2 years now. A lot of our internal communication, all of our meetings, all done via Teams. Especially now that we are all remote as well, we are again all working remotely, so we all can collaborate, have video chats, have um, individual chats, and all stay in contact with each other. All of our meetings are done on a daily basis through Teams using video. We went so far as obviously everybody that has a laptop nowadays has a camera built into it, but we went out and everybody that's using a desktop we got cameras as well, so that they sit on top of their monitors so that they can participate in video calls as well. And so Teams, we've been using it for 2 years. You can see that we are constantly using all day long. So here's Mike just telling me that he can't join the webinar today. I'm going to use Anthony as my coworker and as my test subject here in this training session. Anthony and I sent some messages back and forth earlier, as you can see. So the good thing about Teams, right, is that since it is a desktop app, you can run it on your desktop. It's always going to be running in the background. Over here on the left-hand side, we have some icons that we're going to review each one. The first one, chatting. So this is Anthony and I, and we are chatting back and forth as we do with a lot of people during the course of the day. The good thing about it is a couple of things. So first of all, is it's going to timestamp the message that you got, which is really good. You can reply using the quick replies like most people have seen with text messages now, right? So you have the quick replies up here. The other thing too is when Anthony does send me a message, it will pop up on my screen, right? And it's a small little pop-up down the right-hand corner of your screen that just says you have a message and it will actually give it to you, right? Anthony generously is sending me my message now, right? So all of your message here in the chat, your latest ones are going to be up on top. So this is the latest one from Anthony. When I do reply to Anthony, I can change the font of the text. I can add importance to it. I can attach a file if I want, and we're going to talk about that. I can add emojis. I can add GIFs. Okay. I can add stickers. I can schedule a meeting with him. I can send him a stream video, or I can just send him a message. Okay. And it's going to tag it, right? And the good thing about it is going to actually tell you, say, hey, he's seen it, right? So when you do send that message, it is almost like you're getting that read response. So Anthony and I can have these conversations back and forth. They are going to, we are able to communicate. Again, it will show you all of your recent chats. The way I like to describe this is think about these as text messages, right? So this is a text message that's going back between Anthony and I individually. You can have group text messages. So this is one between Ken and I, Ken, Will, and I, right? So this is a group of us. And you can see that this is Ken, Will, and I talking about it. So we will all get these messages on this particular thread. You can organize your teams doing a couple of things. So first of all, I'm showing the recent one, right, which I can take off, right? I can go and I can organize my contacts, right? So my contacts here, I've organized into a couple of favorites, the NST management team, and I can close it if I want, the team that I particularly manage, and anybody else that I want to have as part of an organization that I have down as NST. So this makes it real easy finding people inside your organization if you are on the larger side. The other thing, if I'm going to go back to chats for a second, is if I don't see somebody in my organization, like right now, I do not see Walter, right? So if I want to find Walter, I can type him up here, and there is Walter, okay? and I can click on Walter, and I don't think I have very many chats between. Oh, here's the chat. I have what that goes back to 1226. So it's saving the chats, right? So now I can continue to add to this chat should I want to. Okay, we talked about adding files to chats, right? So I can send a file and attach a file should I want to. So I know I attached a file to John the other day. So here's a message that's going back and forth between John and I. And you'll see I attached this file, right? It was a document called Zach. I attached it just by using the attach button here in the button, right? It actually asked me, I can upload it from my computer, I can upload from OneDrive, so I can upload any file. And once I attach it in there, he now has access to it. It's almost like in an email, get an attachment. It will actually save this attachment in the chat between John and I. So if you look up on top here, right, I can see John, right? It gives me all of his contact information. I can see the chats, and I can see files. So if I go over to files, you'll see that Zach doc, which is saved there. So if I ever had to go back and get to it, I can come back here and get to it. The other good thing about the organization is it actually will tell you the status of each person, right? So if I take a look at Sean, for example, that little checkbox means that Sean's available. This feature actually syncs with your calendar inside of Outlook, right? So if I come over here to calendar inside of Outlook, inside of Teams, it syncs with my calendar, right? So I'm actually looking at my Outlook calendar that's syncing with Teams. So here we are doing this training series on Teams that is populated on my calendar. The calendar can be viewed in a couple different ways, right? So I can look at it by week, I can look at it by day, I can look at it by work week, eliminating Saturday and Sunday. I can schedule a new meeting. I can decide to meet now. So these are all things that I can do, again, from within inside Teams. The one thing that you'll find with Microsoft is that Microsoft is putting a lot of development time and money into Microsoft Teams because of the fact that they really want people to look at Teams as one pane of glass. They are integrating all of their applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Planner, Flow, SharePoint. All of these applications can actually be accessed inside of Teams. So an example of that, if I come back to that message between John and I, right, and if I want to look at this document, right, it's a Word document that is actually going to open up inside of Teams. So I am looking at a Word document, and I did not have to go to Word, I did not have to go to Open Word, but yet I still have all the same functionality that I have inside of Word here inside of Teams. So Microsoft is really building this program as, again, one pane of glass that allows you to stay inside of the Teams application without having to go to the other applications like Excel and Word and so on and so forth. Here's another example. I just pasted a quick spreadsheet here inside of Teams, right? As another example of what I can do and how I can share and collaborate with individuals. So next, so you can also do calls, right? So if I'm particularly going to talk to Anthony, right, I am typically not going to pick up my phone or my soft phone or my VoIP phone and pick up and dial his extension. I am most likely going to come over here to Teams and just do an audio call, right? Once I make this audio call, Anthony's Teams will ring, and then it will allow us to have a conversation between the two of us. Most of the time, we are doing video calls, right? Especially in this day and age when we are all working remotely. We can set up a video call, and it's as simple as this. So I prepped Anthony ahead of time, so I'm going to give Anthony a call. And there's me. Hopefully Anthony answers. Anthony there? And there's Anthony. So as you can see, right, video call works very well. We hear each other crystal clear. Anthony's a little close to the camera, but it's all good. So thank you, Anthony. So that's the majority way that we communicate now, obviously being in this world where we're communicating remotely, where we're doing video calls all day long, we're doing team meetings all day long. And again, here at NST, we are all doing them typically via video, and we're going to show you that as well. The other thing with this is I can share my screen, right? So just like you guys are seeing my screen on this webinar, I can share my screen with anybody inside of Teams. So if I click on screen sharing, it will give me the option, right? It'll give me the option of sharing a screen, sharing a window, sharing a particular application. So this is looking at YouTube, this is looking at Word. So I can share my screen very, very quickly with people. This allows me to collaborate them very quickly. Okay, going back to the icons on the left here. So we went through chat. I'm going to skip Teams for a second. We talked about calendar. We're going to talk about calls for a second. So what this is going to do is when I click on calls, this is going to bring up everybody inside your organization, right? So you can see all the people here inside of NST. Again, I can look at their status, right? So Brian is busy, Brian Spano is available, Anthony is busy, Mike Apollo is available. So that's a really good thing. And from here, I can really just click on them and do a call or do a video call. Over here on the left-hand side, I have contacts, and this actually goes and looks at all of your Outlook contacts. I have history, so you can see that outgoing call between Anthony and myself. I spoke to Brian Spano a little earlier, and I spoke to Sean a little earlier, right? So these are all my history from today. I also have voicemail, right? So if I was calling Anthony and Anthony didn't pick up, his voicemail would pick up, and I actually do have the ability to leave him a voicemail. The other good thing about Teams, right, is that it's really based upon a Microsoft Office 365 group. So when you create a group in Office 365, what it does is it creates a team, it creates a SharePoint site, and it allows you to collaborate. So I'm going to flip over to the team section here, right? So the way that we have divided up our teams are by department. So again, taking a step back, because everything in Office 365 and in Teams is based upon an Office 365 group. So we've created a group called Sales and Marketing Team. And what that has done is that has created this team, which we're going to step you through, also has created a SharePoint site for this particular team. So again, the one thing I just want to make sure of that we're clear on is chatting is typically individual chat messages between you and an employee or you and a couple of employees. Again, the way I look at this is text messages or group text messages. When we move over to the Teams section, this is definitely more collaborative. This is, communication between you and everybody that's part of this team. So let's talk about if you're part of the team. So you can see I'm involved in a couple of different teams here at NST. Now, it does not mean that, if you are not part of this team that you are going to see this. So again, using Anthony as the example, Anthony's part of the sales and marketing team. He's part of the client strategy team, but he is not particularly part of the web team. So he would not even see this team listed in his team's application. You are only going to see the teams that you are part of. Okay. So what is inside of a team? So we're going to use the sales and marketing team as the example. I'm going to click this drop down to bring you down to what we call channels. So inside of a team, we have channels. So what channels are used for? Our channels are used for collaboration about a particular topic. So here we created a channel for coronavirus, right? And there's nothing in there just yet, believe it or not. But I created this just for the other day for the other demo as a way to show that how we can create channels about particular topics. And typically when we train on implementing teams and starting with channels, we typically like to tell people that if you're going to create a channel called, again here in coronavirus, that everything inside this channel should be about coronavirus. It should not be about prospect 1, 2, 3. And our project team only uses channels on active projects. So every active project that they have for that particular week, there is a channel for. And they are collaborating inside that channel for that particular project. So let me take a step back and show you how Teams is set up, right? So here we have created the sales and marketing team. If I click on the options here, right, I can hide this particular team. I can manage this team because I do manage this team. And the only people that would see these options are people that do manage the team. I can add channels. Again, we recommend that the team leader be the only one to have the ability to add channels. I can add members. So if a new member started with NST and I wanted to add them to the sales and marketing team, I can do it from here. I can leave the team. Again, I own this team, so I can make these changes. I can edit the team, and I can manage all the tags, and we're going to talk about tags. Okay. When I look at the options I have inside of a channel notifications. So if this channel is about a whole bunch of different topics that I don't get involved with, I can turn off the post. So in other words, it will not prompt me or pop up on my screen. Some of the other options I have are I can manage the channels. I can get an email address for this particular channel, meaning I can request an email address from IT for this particular channel, or I can get a link to the channel. So channels, again, typically are around a particular topic, okay? The other question I get asked all the time is if I'm getting messages from people, you know, pop-ups all day long from people sending me chat messages, and then we have all this collaboration here inside of Teams, am I going to get pop-ups, you know, every day, all day long? So the good thing about Teams is that they know that, right? They know that, you know, you are getting these individual chat messages and that people are collaborating. And if you continually getting pop-ups, you're going to get distracted from day-to-day work. So what you'll see in here, I'm using this because this is a really good example. So yesterday, Brian and myself, we started talking about making some changes to our website. So Brian tagged me and tagged Kenny, right? So what does tagging mean? So tagging means is when you're inside a conversation, if I'm going to tag Brian, I'm going to put the @ symbol and I'm going to tag him, and that will make it purple. So what that does is when I tag somebody, and if I send this message to him, he will get the pop-up. If I don't tag anybody in the message, it'll just be added to the thread, but it won't prompt anybody. So the example of that is this. So you'll see in this first message here, I was tagged by Brian, right? But in all of these replies, right, I was not tagged. That's why I don't have anything here, but I can click on these to show all of the replies, right? So these are all the replies that were going back and forth yesterday about making changes to our website. So you can see I put up here at 8:46, Brian made the change at 8:51, another change came out, Brian put up the link to the change of website that we can click on and go review it. Again, here I revised it. Kenny then tagged Brian on another change. Brian then again set the update at 3:48. Again, another update at 4:41, 6:12, so on and so forth. So this is a great example of how we've been collaborating on making a change to the website. Here's another example of, again, where Brian said he tried to use something and he couldn't make the edits because somebody was in that particular page. So again, an excellent way to stay collaborative, stay focused on a particular change, right? And the good thing about this, again, is that I don't have to come and look at all of these posts unless I want to come back and look at these posts. If somebody is going to tag me on a particular conversation, then I am going to get the pop-up on my screen saying that, hey, somebody tagged you, they want you to go review this. I can also tag the entire team. So if I tag the entire sales and marketing team, once I hit send, which is over here, everybody that's on this particular team will get tagged, right? So this means I may want to send out a message, hey, we made the update to the website, everyone go check it out. And that may be the message that I send out. So again, the really good thing here is that it allows you to collaborate and communicate very quickly on a particular topic or subject or anything in general. Okay, so Teams. The really good thing we talked about was Microsoft giving you the ability to look at other applications inside of Teams. So the good thing here is that we have a couple of applications that we have linked inside of our Teams, right? So the first thing that we've linked in is SharePoint. So here at NST, the majority of our Word, Excel, data files are stored in SharePoint. And I can get access to that SharePoint data right here from inside Teams, right? So these are tabs, just like in a web browser or in Excel, and I can add multiple tabs to a particular channel. So here, if I click on this, this is going to take us to our SharePoint library, right? So this is our SharePoint library, which is stored inside of SharePoint. And I can click inside folders very quickly and look at data very quickly, okay? So again, I necessarily don't have to leave Teams to go look at data. I can actually open up Word and Excel files right inside of Teams. Some of the other applications that we have linked is we have a notebook. So every single department inside of our organization has a notebook. That notebook is basically all of our notes on particular meetings, internal tasks, internal notes, anything that happens. We all have the ability to go back and review all the notes from meetings inside of a notebook. The other one we have is Planner. So we are actually going to do a webinar on Microsoft Planner and Microsoft To Do early next week as we continue this training series. So I'll give you a quick little peek at Planner. So Planner, these are buckets. I can assign tasks to individual people. When I assign a task to them, they will get an email that basically they've been assigned a task, all of the details of the task, and a due date. And the good thing about Planner is that it will remind you that you have tasks due. It will remind you when the task is due, and it will remind you and send you a message if there are tasks that have been passed due. So the really good thing about Planner and the really good thing why I like it is because it holds everybody accountable. Everybody can see everyone's tasks and when they're due. You can also update the tasks. So if I'm halfway through a task and I got this done, this done, and this done, you can update the entire team as to where you are on your particular task. And Microsoft Planner actually integrates with Microsoft To Do, which again is what we're going to show you next week. We also have Microsoft Flow integrated with our teams as well. That will be a future webinar, but this allows me to allows all of our sales and marketing people to request a new part number be added if a particular part number is not in our catalog. Okay, going back. Just want to take a look at my notes to see if there's anything that I missed. All right, so again, going back to Microsoft Teams. So again, I like to show the way that we use it because I think that we use the Microsoft Office 365 stack almost to the full extent. We are using all of the major applications, Teams, Flow, Planner, Stream. We're using all of the major ones and all of the ones that allow us to collaborate. The one last thing I do want to show you. If you are the manager of the team, right, you can always come back and see who all the members are, right? So you'll see who the members are, who the owners are, and who the owners are. The other thing too is that we've started to use this internally is we started to use it externally as well. So our teams can communicate with other organizations that are using Teams, and we can invite different people in from outside of NST into a particular team, which again is now not only is it allowing us to collaborate and to communicate internally, it's allowing us to communicate with people externally as well. So what does that mean? So we brought in, some legal counsel from the outside, some accounting people from the outside, some consultants from the outside. Again, all part of different teams. Again, it allows us to collaborate with them as well as us internally. All right. With that being said, sorry about that. Again, so how NST can help you with Microsoft Teams. So we can help you get started on Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, most likely everyone here that is using Office 365 already has the Teams license. It is included with your subscription. So you already have the ability to send a chat message to somebody. If you do not, please let us know. Teams usually is installed automatically with Windows 10. But if you want to get more collaborative and you want to start setting up teams here, we do recommend that you reach out to us to allow us to help you set up these teams because it does do some work on the back end. It does create a SharePoint site. It does create an Office 365 group. So it'd be best if you just reach out to your account manager and say, hey, I saw Matt's demo on Teams. Looks great. Really think it can help. I got a lot of great feedback from the webinar the other day, and we really think it can help everybody that's now working remotely be more social, be more interactive with their employees while working from home. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for attending today. I appreciate everybody taking some time out on a Friday. It is Friday. Everybody should be smiling about that. I did promise you another YouTube video at the end. I will make good on that promise. I will see if anybody has any questions. They can post them there and I can answer them. If you do want to send me an email afterwards, and happy to answer any questions as well. Or again, please feel free to reach out to your account manager. All right, with that being said, let me find this video I am looking for. That's not the one I'm looking for. Give me a second and I'll bring it over. Probably gonna have to listen to a commercial. Give me one more second. I did have it up. Here it is. Sorry about the advertisement. Oh, no video. Oh, nobody can hear the audio. Oh, I'm sorry. If you guys can't hear the audio, I apologize. If everybody wants to see this link, go to YouTube. It's a video conference call in real life. It is definitely worth taking a peek at. It's pretty funny. Sorry that the video is not coming through. But again, if anybody has any questions or anything along those lines, please feel free to reach out to myself, any one of your NST account managers. Please make sure that everyone stays safe and healthy at this time. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great Friday.